Hey everyone, what is going on? Welcome to the video, and in today's video I am going to be discussing some of the most common gym mistakes I see beginners making in the gym that really hold them back from making the progress they have the ability to make in terms of growing muscle in the first 1 to 2 years of training. And the potential to grow muscle during this gym newbie stage is so high, and if you're following a well-designed, well-structured plan and minimizing the mistakes that you are making, then you might be able to gain like 1 to 2 pounds of muscle per month, and that is so much higher than a more advanced gym goer who has been training for many years, and they would be lucky to see this kind of growth within maybe 3 to 6 months. So avoiding making the following costly mistakes is really going to help speed up the muscle growth process and help you see visible changes a lot sooner. So let's get started. Okay, so the first mistake I see people making all of the time is not focusing on progressive overload, and this is potentially the biggest mistake you can ever make, because progressive overload is the foundation on which we grow muscle, and what it basically is challenging your muscles more and more as the weeks go on, which causes them to adapt and grow. So there are plenty of ways to progressively overload the muscle, but my advice is to choose maybe 1 to 2 exercises for each body part, and then choose a specific rep range to work within for those exercises, and then just ensure that these exercises are a staple in your workout plan over the coming weeks and months, and really focus on making progress on them in terms of increasing the weight you can lift and the reps you can do. So for example, let's just say you choose to flat bench press to help you grow your chest, and you really want to make progress within the 6 to 8 rep range. So you might start off by being able to do 4 sets of 6 on 40 kg. A month later you might be able to do 4 sets of 8 on 45 kg. And a month after that you might be able to do 4 sets of 6 on 50 kg. And this is the process in which you grow muscle. So make sure that this systematic approach is the approach you take to most of your exercises, because you know, if you're just going to the gym, doing what you feel like, not even being able to remember what you lifted last week on a certain exercise, then progressive overload is just not going to happen as quickly or as effectively, and this is going to slow down the muscle growth process. Okay, so mistake number 2 is not paying attention to tempo, and tempo is the speed at which you perform each rep in a set. And I think when you're starting out, you know, you have this competitive edge, especially if you're training with your friends, and you just want to lift as heavy as possible, and as a result your reps are very fast and very sloppy, and these fast and sloppy reps can have a very negative effect on the muscle growth process, because even if you are lifting heavier than you were maybe a month ago, it is highly likely that the progressive overload process has suffered as a result, because you are just using way too much momentum to complete each rep. So you might be bouncing the bar off your chest during the bench press, or you may be swinging the barbell up for bicep curls, and as a result a lot less tension is going through the muscle. So you can manipulate tempo in many ways, but my general advice is just to make sure you are feeling in control of the weight at all times during the set, and during the eccentric phase of each rep, which is the lowering phase. So for example, it's when you are lowering the bar down to your chest on the bench press. It is when you are lowering yourself down during a squat. It is when you are lowering the barbell down during a bicep curl. Make sure this phase is at least 2 seconds long, and initially you might be able to lift a little less as a result of slowing down this eccentric phase of each rep, but the actual work your muscle is doing is going to increase, and so will your rate of muscle gain. Okay, so mistake number 3 that I see beginners make all of the time in the gym is spending way too much time focusing on their abs. And even if getting more visible abs is a huge focus of yours, spending like 20 minutes at the end of each and every session doing multiple ab exercises is not the most effective way to go about this. And this is because the most important factor in getting more visible abs is reducing your body fat, and to do this, putting yourself in a calorie deficit is key. So when it comes to visible abs, focusing mostly on your diet and reducing your calorie intake is going to get you the results that you're looking for. But that doesn't mean that training your abs is a waste of time, because doing so will help them develop and grow just just like any other muscle. But what I recommend is choosing maybe 1 to 2 ab exercises, doing them 2 times per week, and focus on progressive overload, just like any other muscle. And you know, if you're currently spending a lot longer in the gym training your abs, then you can dedicate that extra time that you've just freed up to working on another muscle group that probably needs a little bit more attention. Okay, so another mistake I see beginners making all of the time is choosing a workout plan or a workout split that just does not line up with their personal goals effectively in terms of growing muscle. And I have actually done a full YouTube video on this and how to choose the right workout split for you, and I will link that in the description box below. But just to summarize, I often see beginners who can maybe dedicate 3 to 4 days per week to the gym, choosing to follow a push-pull leg split, or choosing to follow a bro split where they're training like one specific muscle group each day. So they could have a chest day, a back day, an arms day, etc. And this is just not optimal for muscle growth. So when you are choosing or designing a workout plan for you to follow, it's important to ask yourself questions like, is this workout plan suitable for my current experience levels in the gym, or is it a little too advanced for where I am currently at? So for example, a beginner might be much better off following a full body split or an upper lower split as opposed to a push pull leg split. And another question you should ask yourself is if the workout split you are currently following allows you to train the muscle groups that you really want to improve at least 2 times per week, because this is going to be more optimal than training them 1 time per week. So for example, if you can dedicate 3 or 4 days per week to the gym and you're following a bro split where you're training like chest one day, back one day, arms one day, legs one day, then you're not going to be hitting each muscle group 2 times per week, and as a result your gains will suffer. And another question you need to ask is if your plan has a big focus on progressive overload, because as we know, progressive overload is the foundation on which we grow muscle. Or alternatively, is it one of those poorer workout plans that focus more on fitting as many exercises into each session as possible? Does it focus too much on sweating or achieving a good pump? Does it focus too much on things like drop sets and supersets? Does it focus too much on being in severe pain the next day? So make sure you are asking yourself these questions, make sure you are critiquing your workout plan, and if you are not 100% sure if your workout plan is suitable for you, then I highly recommend watching my video on this that is linked in the description box below, and also ask me all of the questions you need in the comment section. Okay, so the 5th mistake that I see people making all of the time, and this is very common with younger people, maybe 16, 17, 18 years old, is testing their 1 rep max way too often. So if your main goal is to grow muscle, then your 1 rep max is actually pretty irrelevant, and testing it on a regular basis can be so counterproductive. And this is because during the sessions that you do test your 1 rep max, your workout volume usually takes a big hit as a result, and this can have a negative effect on the gains that you make from that session. So just as an example, I am going to display a typical way in which people usually test their 1 rep max. So the first 2 sets might typically be kind of lower rep sets where people are building up to that weight. The 3rd set might be the 1 rep max attempt, and the 4th set is usually more of a back off set where, you know, you might drop the weight and try and get some more workout volume in. But your performance on this 4th set is typically nowhere near as good as it usually is using that weight, because you're just so tired from testing your 1 rep max, which can take a lot out of you. And now let's compare that to a normal session where you are not testing your 1 rep max, and as you can see across your 4 sets your workout volume is a lot higher. And given that the weight you are using is challenging and you are pushing yourself on each set, then this session is going to be a lot more effective for growing muscle. So does that mean that you should never test your 1 rep max? No, obviously not. If you enjoy testing your 1 rep max, then by all means do it. But I recommend saving it, you know, for a session every few months as opposed to every few weeks. Okay, so the final mistake that I see beginners and even intermediate and advanced trainers making all of the time is not taking enough rest between sets. So typically you might see someone take maybe 30 seconds between each set because they feel that the burning sensation or the greater pump that you achieve from these shorter rest periods is going to equal, you know, better muscle growth. But this is not the case whatsoever, and when you take shorter rest periods, you're obviously giving your muscles less of a chance to recover between each set, and that is going to have a negative effect on the following set. And typically you're going to experience a decrease in the number of reps you can do in each set as your sets go on. So for example, you might be able to get out 8 reps on a certain weight on your first set, but with that shorter rest period, then 8 reps might turn into 7 reps on your second set, and that might turn into 5 reps on your third set. However, if you take longer rest periods, then it is much more likely that you're going to be able to maintain your performance across all of your sets, and hence you're going to perform a greater number of reps in total. And the more highly stimulating reps we do across our sets, the more progressive overload our muscles experience and the more our muscles grow, meaning longer rest periods are going to be more beneficial for muscle growth than shorter rest periods. And in relation to my rest period guidelines, it depends on whether it's a compound exercise or an isolation exercise. So for compound exercises, I recommend taking at least 2 minutes between each set, and if you have the time, take 3 minutes, and if you need longer, then go for it. And for exercises where, you know, I am really trying to make progress on, I sometimes take closer to 5 minutes between each set to ensure I am fully ready and prepared for the following set. And then for your smaller isolation exercises like your bicep curls, tricep pushdowns, lateral raises, leg curls, these are slightly easier to recover from, so what I recommend is taking at least 60 seconds between each set. But, you know, just like your compound exercises, if you can afford an extra 30 seconds or more, then by all means take advantage. So guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you are a beginner in the gym or if you're at any stage of your lifting career, then be sure to put that advice into action. And of course, comment below and let me know if you have any questions, and I will be happy to answer them. So thank you for watching. Make sure you give the video a big thumbs up as well, and I will see you in the next one.